All right. Hey, team. Welcome to our weekly Monday Night Huddle. I'm Amber Ike, and thanks for joining us. I hope everyone had a great last week. We were off for trick-or-treating purposes. So raise your hand if your kids got candy and you're not even like paying attention to it. Isn't that amazing? You guys, Eli's first Halloween, I think he was 8 months old or something, and I took him around town to trick-or-treat. Obviously not for his benefit. Like, mama wanted candy. So it's just funny how this year it's not even an issue. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Plexus. Okay, just a couple quick announcements, you guys. We are having our new ambassador training this Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So if you have someone that's newer and just wants to get plugged into the basics, make sure that they are a part of that. And that is via Zoom. And there is a Facebook event created in our Journey Toward Diamond page. So you can send that link to people that need it. Let's see, next Tuesday night, which is the 15th of November, we are having a Facebook opportunity event, and the page was just created. And so I will post that link in our team page after the huddle tonight. So you can start inviting prospects. We've got a good solid week to get people invited. And the last one, where you guys, raise your hand if you're on the Plexus Spooktacular one that our team did right before Halloween. That one was so good. Did you guys like how we did the live testimonies? So that's how this next one's going to run. We're going to have, graphics about the products and whatnot, but we're going to have people from our own team chiming in live with testimonies. And it just kind of makes it a little bit more interactive. So we will have that on the 15th of this month. And then anyone who lives local, if you're in the Houston area, this Thursday night, you guys, Amy Paul and Sarah Taylor are doing an ambassador training. Amazing, you guys. And it's called #NoExcuses. So that right there, you can tell it's going to be a good time. And it's only for ambassadors. It's just training. They're going to try to get us in and out like in an hour and a half. So it'll be a really good time. It starts at 7 p.m. and it's in spring. So make sure you RSVP to that event if you plan on going. They're trying to get a head count to make sure that it's not going to be standing room only. And let's see here. Super Saturday. Raise your hand. I feel like I'm making you guys raise your hand a lot. Raise your hand if you're already registered. Yay. I see lots of hands. You guys, that was crazy when they announced that. Like, people were signing up left and right. That is January 7th from noon to 4. There are still lots of locations that have space. And the ones that don't have space, I think, I've heard through the grapevine that they're trying to find a venue that will fit everyone since it did sell out so quickly. So in some locations are fine. So get signed up, you guys. The best $19.99 you will spend on your Plexus business. It's really gonna just catapult you to the next level. For those of you who haven't been able to go to one yet, that is huge. That's Super Saturday. And then who is going to earn the planner, the Plexus planner for the month of November's incentive? You guys, it has like dates in it. You know how we're always like, oh, where's that graphic that says when convention is or leaders retreat for next year? It has it on those dates. That in and of itself is a lifesaver for me. And it's similar to the Erin Condren planner. For those of you who are familiar with those planners, there's different stickers in this planner, and they're like Plexus related. Like, you can tear off a sticker and put it in your planner, and it says like Zoom meeting or opportunity call. Like, it's so Plexus specific. Sarah Marble helped like create it. So, it's going to be really, really, really good. So that's it for the announcements. For earning the planner, you have to get a combination of 3 ambassadors or 3 customers. So very doable, very, very doable. And if I were you, I would try to earn it as soon as possible so you don't have to wait until the end of the month to try to get that last customer, that last ambassador. But anyways, you guys, I had such a great time in Illinois. It was so great getting to see you guys. And I know that there were some of you that had planned on going and weren't able to make it or had things that were already going on. And we definitely missed you guys. But just a great time. I love the weather. P.S. Good job, you guys, on having the weather be amazing for me while I was there. I actually got to experience fall for a couple days. But you guys, something about this trip just kind of opened my eyes, and I just sensed that there's like a hunger, you know, and that there's a shift happening in our team, and a readiness almost. And I feel like for a lot of us, you know, we've laid the foundation, we've put in the work, we've decided that this is what we're doing. And, you know, I just feel like there's a shift happening and people are getting ready to just start running. You know, maybe slow and steady has been your pace for a while, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with slow and steady until you just get to the point where it's not okay anymore, right? And for each one of us, we know when we hit that point in our business where slow and steady just doesn't cut it for your goal anymore. But I feel like there's something that's kind of been holding some people back. And maybe that's a fear of failure. Maybe it's a fear of success. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but some people have a fear of success. Or maybe it's a fear of change, you know? And this isn't just the Illinois people. Like, I feel like it's kind of our whole team at large. Something's been kind of holding us back and just keeping us in that slow and steady pace. But whatever the case may be, I just want to encourage those of you that are ready to run. So if you're on here tonight and that's you, you know, I just want to encourage you guys that if you are ready to run, to just throw caution to the wind and give yourself permission to be awesome. You know, like, we don't have to apologize for turning up the heat on our own business, and thinking maybe that's going to offend somebody, or maybe that's going to hurt somebody's feelings, or maybe that's going to shake things up too much and, you know, cause a stir. You don't have to apologize for wanting more out of this opportunity. You are worth it. And for those of you that are ready to run, the time has come, you guys. We are entering a new season with Plexus. And those of you who are laying the groundwork now and planting those seeds, when the new year comes, it's going to be game on, ready to run time. So for those of you who were at our Illinois trainings, hang on, are you guys, wait a second, I want to make sure that I am not missing anything. Okay. For those of you that were at our Illinois training, you're going to kind of get a taste of what we did at the trainings, because I felt like that was such good content that's just nuts and bolts that I wanted to make sure everyone got that training. But for your viewing pleasure, you guys, I made a PowerPoint. Are you guys proud of me? I made a PowerPoint. Like, I channeled my college years. Now let's just see if I can bring it up. That's the true question. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, Lord. Okay. Can you guys see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, cool. Okay. So at the Illinois training, we played the song, and I'll spare you guys tonight, but the Jackson 5. You know that song, ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. So I wanted to go over that tonight. And then at the end, I have something in addition. So the ones who were at the Illinois trainings, you didn't get this. And it's a special little thing that I'm going to have at the end. So, but before we get started, you guys, this is like the nuts and bolts. This is what you need to focus on to be successful in your business. And like we talked about at the Illinois training, before the what and the how even matter, your why has to be so clear. You need to be so clear on your why that you do the what and the how. Because if your why is shaky, or it's not clear, or it's not, you're not passionate enough about it, it doesn't matter what you know about how to be successful with Plexus, you're not going to show up to do the work. You're going to, you know, your to-do list is going to get long. You're going to have other things going on, and you're not going to show up and put the work in. So that's where I like to start. Make sure that your why is so clear that you do the what and the how. Does that make sense? And like I mentioned over the weekend, you know, it's not enough to say, I want to make $1,000. Like, that was my why when I started. But attached to that was I knew that $1,000 was going to get me home and, you know, home with Eli and not having to wake him up at 6 a.m. to go watch someone else's children. So you have to attach it to that emotion. Okay, guys, hang on. Let me make sure I can see the chat just in case. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay. A stands for activity, guys. These are the nuts and the bolts. This is the what and the how to be successful with Plexus. A lot of times we overcomplicate it and we get sidetracked by all the different things we think we should or could be doing. It boils down to consistency with the nuts and bolts. So A is for activity. Income producing activity. We hear it all the time, but I just want to make sure that it's ingrained in us because that's what we need to focus on every day. So what are some income producing activities? Growing your network. We talk about it all the time. Make sure you're always adding to your Facebook. There's Facebook groups for those of you who feel like you can't get out and like meet people. There's Facebook groups that you can be a part of where you meet like-minded people. Joining a Bible study, meeting moms at the park, you know, going through the cashier's lane instead of the self-check lane when you're at the store. Being intentional about connecting with people. We live in such a fast-paced world where, you know, wherever we go, this is how we are, right? Just look up, look around you. There's people everywhere. Casey, for example, I'm going to point you out because I can see you right now, Casey. You guys, she went, I was so proud of her. She went to a restaurant and she intended to get the girls information, and there was just never a moment for her to do that. And so Casey, instead of being like, well, bummer, there's a lost, you know, that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. She went on Facebook and she found the girl. She knew her first name and she knew the town she was in. And Casey was a Facebook stalker and I was so proud of her. And it worked out. She sent her a message and the girl accepted her friend request. Like, that stands out to people because I'm sure when Casey was communicating with her, like Casey was being Casey and being herself and being loving. And that means something to people, you know, like that stands out to people. So just being intentional. Posting on Facebook, that is an income producing activity, you guys, and not just about Plexus. Make sure you're posting about your life. Your friends and family want to know what's going on in your world. So posting on Facebook. And when you do post about Plexus, make it a, you know, a story, make it part of your journey, bring people along on that journey. You know, and I'll call Sarah out for that because I can see her. Sarah is doing a great job. She's been on the products, not for super long, but since day one, she's invited her friends and family to be a part of her health journey. And she's creating this story, you know, that people naturally want to start cheering her on because she's let them be a part of her journey. And so, you know, just make it interactive, make it fun. Reaching out to people, that is an income producing activity. And that doesn't have to be just reaching out to people about Plexus, you know, commenting on people's posts, sending them birthday messages, those kinds of things. That's interacting with people and being intentional. All right, let's see. Following up with people. We all hear it all the time. The fortune is in the follow-up, so make sure you're following up. That's a huge activity. For most people, it takes them 7 to 12 times to hear something before they make a decision. So if you reach out to them once and maybe follow up with them once or twice, you haven't even gone like a quarter of the distance for some of the people. You know, you're just getting the wheels turning. So make sure that you are following up with people. And then personal growth. This is one that I wish I would have started from day one of my journey in this business. But personal growth. And for all of us, you know, it's a little bit different. You know, for some of us, maybe we like audio books, you know, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you are a reader, videos on YouTube, you know, everyone has a different way that they kind of learn, and find what speaks to you, find your author or your favorite diamond trainer, and pour into yourself. Just continue to grow. B stands for belief. That's a word that we hear all the time too, that I think we just kind of get used to hearing it. You have to have belief in yourself. And for a lot of us, we come into this kind of business with focused on weaknesses. A lot of us tend, as women, we tend to focus on our weaknesses a lot, or we compare ourselves to other people, right? You have to focus on yourself and have belief in yourself. And a way to do that is to recognize your strengths. And if that's not something that you're comfortable with, ask one of your closest friends, or ask your spouse or something, what are your strengths? What do they see in you of value that you can focus on in this business, and run with that? And then another way to grow your belief in yourself is the personal growth aspect that we just talked about. Belief in our products, being a product of the product, is going to grow that belief. Reading testimonies, hearing other people's testimonies. That's one of the things I love about going to events. A lot of you guys that I heard your testimony in Illinois, I haven't heard it firsthand ever. And I mean, I was literally bawling at some of your stories, and you're on our team and I've never heard them, you know? So it's just it builds your belief in our products even more when you hear other people's stories. Belief in our company, just paying attention to what Plexus is doing and the good that we're doing in the world, in addition to just the products. You know, every time there's a holiday that comes out, it seems like Plexus is, you know, giving money back to a certain charity or whatnot. So, and then just paying attention to our executives and how they do have integrity and are leading from the front. That builds your belief in our company. And going to corporate events. Nothing will build your belief in our company more than going to a corporate event like Super Saturday. So that's huge. And then belief in network marketing. A lot of us have bad taste in our mouth with network marketing, or maybe we just don't even understand how huge this industry is and how it is such a better way than the normal 9-to-5 that we're taught to, you know, grow up and look for. So some ways to build your belief in this is reading books. There's so many good books about network marketing out there. And I mentioned this in the Illinois training, but MLMnation.com. So it's MLM, multi-level marketing nation.com. They have free podcasts. And I love their podcasts because all the different people that they showcase, they're top earners in their company. And they don't even mention what company they're in, because it's not even about that. It's just about how they became successful in that company and whatever tips that they want to share along the way. And it's really cool because you can go and look through them and it'll tell you like, so-and-so was a mom of 3 little kids and built her business, or so-and-so, you know, like I like it because you can kind of pick the ones that you think you might relate with a little bit. So B is for belief. Okay. C is for consistency. This is a word we hear all the time also. You can work part-time, just not sometimes. I think, you know, we think, okay, I'm going to put in about 5 hours today and then I'm good to go for the week. Well, your friends and family, people on Facebook, they're watching to see if you're going to be consistent. You know, not that they want to see you fail, but they want to see that you're in it and that you're actually passionate about it, and that it's not just a fly by night, you know, whenever you're feeling in the mood to talk about Plexus kind of thing. So make a schedule that works for you and then stick with it. That's the cool thing about this opportunity. You don't have to put in 40 hours a week to be successful. You know, you get to make your own schedule. If that means evenings are when you can get your work in, that's perfect. If you are the kind of person that really can capitalize on your nooks and crannies throughout the day, maybe you work full time. And, you know, I always give a shout out to Tristan for this. She works full time, has a very busy life, but she knows she's going to use her nooks and crannies for her Plexus business. And she has a commute both ways in the morning and afternoon. And she uses that for her Plexus business. It would be easy to be like, let me call one of my friends today and just kind of like let the time pass. And I'm sure there are probably days where she wants to do that, but she knows that that's her Plexus time and she utilizes it as such. So make a schedule that works for you and stick with it. And if that schedule doesn't work for you, you can always tweak it. It's your own business. So tweak your own business hours. And just remember that daily effort adds up over time. You know, anything you do just on a daily, consistent basis is going to pay off in the long run. Even if you don't feel like you had anything to show for it that day, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It's like the book we're reading for book club. It's the compound effect. The compound effect will soon kick in, and you'll hit that momentum, and it will be unstoppable. Okay, so now it's the next part. Easy as 1, 2, 3. So this is what the numbers stand for, you guys. This is the basics. Keep in mind, this is the nuts and bolts. This is the basics. So this is on a daily basis. 1 stands for 1 new contact. Like we mentioned, you're always wanting to grow your network. So make sure that you're adding people to Facebook, you're adding them to social media, you're getting their phone number, you know, all those types of things, and adding them as a new contact. And I think that just being in the mindset that you're going to be intentional about meeting people changes everything. You know, when you see every opportunity as an opportunity to talk to somebody, then all of a sudden the world kind of changes and you realize, okay, maybe my network isn't as small as I thought. You know, maybe the world's a little bit bigger than I thought. Okay, 2 stands for follow-ups. Who should you be following up with? Obviously, prospects. These are people that you've already mentioned Plexus to, or maybe they've reached out to you asking for information about Plexus and they just haven't ordered or signed up yet. Those are people you are following up with on a regular, consistent basis. Anytime Plexus comes out with a special, anytime we have, you know, a Facebook opportunity event or anything like that, this is when you reach out to those people and you're like, hey, you know, I know it wasn't a good time last month, but this month, you know, Plexus has this going on, and just want to make sure you're in the loop. So prospects are always on that list. Following up with customers and wholesale ambassadors. If you have somebody sign up that wants to be a wholesale ambassador, you need to treat them like a customer. You need to be making sure that you are holding their hand, that you are checking in on them, making sure they got their products, making sure they understand how to ease into them if they decide to ease into the triplex, which is a good idea. And just really being available to those people. For me, when I used to sign ambassadors, I used to feel like, yay, they're signed up. Now let me ignore them because I don't want to stress them out because I've been bothering them the last few days about signing up. And I would kind of just like be hands off at that moment. But that's when people are most excited, and they're also like, okay, now what do I do? They want us to tell them, okay, these are the next steps. I'm going to add you to the team page. I'm going to invite you to a new ambassador training. They want us to kind of walk them through the steps. And if they don't want to be a part of it, that's their choice. But we need to make sure that we're following up with people on a regular basis. And then reaching out, 3 reach outs. So reaching out, you guys, there are different types of reaching out. There are like the birthday samples that we post on the team page that people have been doing. That's a great way to reach out. When it's somebody's birthday, Facebook lets you know, makes it so easy for us. And you can simply send them a message like, hey, happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. In honor of your day, I'd love to send you a sample of the pink drink. If you haven't tried it yet, shoot me your address. That's a really simple way to reach out to somebody, and people love it. People love that you paid attention that it was their birthday, and people love samples. I love freebies. And then they'll send you their address if they're interested, and if they're not, then no worries. Another type of reaching out is reestablishing the relationship. There may be people that you went to college with and you have not talked to in 15 years, right? The first thing you do, you don't want to just spam them with Plexus. Even though you're coming from a genuine place, you know, you want to spend a little bit of time, depending on the person, but reestablishing that relationship, commenting on their Facebook post, liking their stuff, sending them a message like, hey, I noticed you had a baby. She's so cute. How have you guys been doing? You know, kind of just easing into that. And then you'll know when the time is right to talk Plexus, okay? But for some people, we have to reestablish those relationships, and I consider those reaching out. And then for some people, you know it's time to talk Plexus. Your friend has been complaining about a migraine on Facebook for 2 months, it's time to reach out to her and be like, okay, I've seen your posts. I don't want to bother you with this, but I know what we have can help you. And, I would just love to tell you more and see what you think. So those are different types of reaching out. All right. Okay. Now here comes the fun part. And this is the part that's up to you. So all those things that we just talked about, the ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3, those are basics. Okay. This is the fun part that's up to you. You get to pick your own pace. So kind of like what I was mentioning in the beginning of this huddle is, for some of us, slow and steady is our pace, and that is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. For some of us, we kind of have a bigger goal in mind, and it's basically, the bigger your goal, the more your activity. Okay. You can't really have a huge goal of, I want to be diamond in a year, and be putting in the bare necessities. I was talking with Amy Paul a couple weeks ago, and she was saying, when she knew that diamond was on her radar, she was putting in work. Like, she was showing up every single day and busting her tail, but she had a big goal and she knew it would pay off if she was doing that. So long story short, you get to pick your pace. Here's 3 different paces that we came up with, and you guys know I like alliteration, so I try to make it cute. So the first pace is slow and steady. This is for those of you that you want to get your products paid for. You want to promote to silver, like that extra $400 a month as a silver ambassador is what your goal is right now. And keep in mind, you guys, these goals can change. Your pace can change depending on what your goal is. And based on what that goal is, then you'll know what that activity level needs to be. So the slow and steady pace, this is for those of you that want to get your products paid for. The next pace is Girls Got Goals. Or Guys Got Goals, if there's guys on here. These are for those of you that maybe you want to save money for a vacation. Maybe you've always wanted to take your kids to Disney World, and there's no way with your current budget that's going to happen unless you really start working your Plexus business. Maybe some of you, there's a credit card debt that's looming over your head and you're just ready for it to be gone. Or maybe for some of you, you're ready to replace an income and start staying home with your kiddos like you've always wanted to. This is the pace for those of you that have goals along that measure. And then there's the last pace, Mama Makes Maui. So this is for those of you that are ready to run. You know that you're in the right place at the right time, and that this opportunity is for you at this time in your life. And you're ready to be in Maui with me next September. The goal, you have to reach Emerald by July 31st. And for some of you, maybe you've been slow and steady and you're like, how in the world is that going to happen? The way that happens is by upping the activity level. And so I don't want anyone to count themselves out. Maybe you've been a silver ambassador for a year. That's okay, you guys. That's okay. The next slide, I'm going to show you the activity level to get you to that kind of goal. But Mama Makes Maui, you're ready for that free Lexus, and you're ready for that 6-figure a year income that really is that life-changing type of income for a lot of people. Okay, so here's the slow and steady pace, you guys. Hang on, let me make sure I'm not, okay. Okay, so the slow and steady pace, this is the 1, 2, 3. Just like we were talking about earlier, you're gonna be reaching out to 1 new person, or you're gonna have 1 new contact a day, 2 follow-ups a day, and 3 reaching out a day. And then if you're looking at it on a weekly basis, these are your numbers. 5 new contacts a week, 10 new follow-ups a week, and 15 reaching out. Okay, so that's the slow and steady pace. Hang on a second. Okay, the next pace, wait for it. Okay, Girls Got Goals. So for those of you who, like I said, you want to replace an income, you want to pay off some debt, you want to go on an awesome vacation with your family, this is your activity level. 1, 2, 3 might not cut it. You need to up your activity level to reach those bigger goals. So you are going to be doing, instead of the 1, 2, 3, you're going to be doing a 2, 4, 6. You're going to be adding 2 new contacts a day, following up with 4 people a day, and reaching out to 6 people a day. And this is what it looks like on a weekly basis. I broke it up into a weekly basis, and I'll share with you guys that in a minute. But for some people, it's just good to kind of see what that looks like on a weekly basis. So the next one is Mama Makes Maui. So you've got big goals. So you need to have big activity, right? And you guys, these numbers are based on different jewels that I've spoken with. And for those that got there slow and steady, you know, those were the slow and steady numbers. But for the ones that had a big goal and had a timeline in mind that they really knew they had to reach a goal, they upped their activity. It's all about activity, you guys. There's no other secret other than just, if you have a bigger goal, you need to have more activity. So here's your numbers, guys. 3, 6, 9. If you're coming to Maui with me next year, you need to be adding 3 new people a day. That may seem overwhelming, but you guys, that's what Facebook groups are for. That's what, you know, being intentional at the park will do. That's what just being intentional anywhere you go really will do, you know. 6 follow-ups a day. For some of you guys, I mean, I'm sure you have, your kids are in school and you're not friends with all their Facebook, or you're not Facebook friends with all their moms. That's a great place to start, you know. When my kids start preschool, I make sure I add all those moms to Facebook. You know, that's a great place to start. Okay, so 6 follow-ups a day and 9 reaching out a day. You may be thinking, man, how do I follow up with 6 people? I don't have 6 people to follow up with on a daily basis. I have 1 ambassador and 1 customer. Who else am I following up with? Well, once you start reaching out to this many people a day, you're going to have the people to follow up with. Some people are going to ignore you. That's just the way it works because the timing isn't right for them or they're just busy. But you're going to have plenty of people to follow up with once you start reaching out more. And then this is what it looks like on a weekly basis. The 15 new contacts a week. And I just based it on a 5-day work week. I went easy on you guys. I gave you Saturday and Sunday off, or whichever days you want to take off. So if you know you have even bigger goals than this, maybe you're like, Emerald by July 31st isn't enough. I want to be Diamond by July 31st so I can go on the Diamond trip. If that's you, then go ahead and work 7 days a week, you know, or up the activity even more. So 15 new contacts a week, 30 follow-ups a week, and 45 reach outs a week. Okay. So ultimately, you guys, it's your decision. You get to decide what your goal is, and then from there, you pick the pace that works for you, and then you simply do the activity. There's no rocket science to this, guys. You have to know what your goal is. You have to know what your why is. You get to pick your pace if you're going to get there slow and steady, if you're going to, you know, up it a little bit, or if you're going to go all the way. And then do the activity, put in those types of numbers, and you will see those types of results. So hang on a second. I had one more thing I wanted to show you guys. If I can, this will be interesting. I never do screen sharing. Okay, I've got one more thing. Okay. Okay, do you guys see that? You see like a Word document kind of thing, a PDF? So this is for those of you that know, and you don't have to use this, but this is a tracker system that Obi and I just did real quick. And this is for those of you that you have that Mama Makes Maui goal. You are ready to put in that type of activity. So this is just a tracker that I'm going to upload to our team page. And like I said, you can tweak it. You don't have to use it, whatever. It does not hurt my feelings. But this is kind of what makes sense to my brain. And like you can see right here, these are 3 new contacts a day or 15 a week. And so you can go on here, and for this week, you can find the 3 that you're going to add today, whether it's via, you know, you went to a play date and you met 3 new moms and you added them to Facebook, or maybe you went into a Facebook group and you added some people. And this is kind of what you're doing on a daily basis. And then the 6 follow-ups a day or 30 per week. So like I said, some people, some people, breaking it up every single day into daily chunks of activity works for you. And if that's you, do it. For some people, maybe you want to kind of like know ahead of time who you're reaching out to every day. You can fill this in as you go, or you can prepare it the week before. It's up to you kind of how you want to track it. But these are the follow-ups, 30 per week for the Mama Makes Maui group. And then these are the reaching out. And the lines are kind of small. I write big, but I think a lot of you probably write small. I have really awful handwriting for those of you that know me in real life. But actually I have one of it right here so you can see it. I'm going to upload it to JTD. But here's the reaching out ones. And here's kind of my thought process on this. So say you fill this out for the week and you have all these spots filled. Well, now you have a worksheet to go off of for next week. So say you added all these people, you added 15 people this week, you met your goal and you added 15 people. Those 15 people should easily be down here in the reaching out spot the next week. Some of them you may feel ready to reach out about plexus, go for it. If that's in your gut, do it. For some of them, you're establishing that friendship. You're liking their stuff, you're commenting on their stuff, you're sending them a message that, hey, it was so great to connect with you last week. Hope you're having a great week. So these people, these 15 should easily transfer to 15 of these spots. And then you only have 30 more spots to fill. Some of these spots for reaching out, for those of you who are doing the birthday samples, I easily have 5 or 6 people a day that have birthdays based on how big my network is right now. Obviously, a couple of them are probably plexus people, so I'm not offering to send them samples. But I'm reaching out and sending birthday messages to people. So that's an easy way. Did you guys know if you go to your, and I don't know if it's on your phone, but for sure on my computer, if I go into events and I see, it'll show you birthdays for that week. So if you know you're going to send the birthday samples, you can look on a Sunday night and be like, ooh, Sarah has a birthday Monday. Let me put her down. Oh, Casey has a birthday Tuesday. You can go through and have it prepared. Their birthday isn't going to change in the next couple days. If their birthday is Monday, it's going to be Monday. So that doesn't change. So see what I'm saying? Like, you can really prepare in advance. And then the ones that end up wanting a sample, you can easily the next week put them in the follow-up section because you've sent them a sample. You want to make sure they got it. You want to make sure that they took it. I had one girl, I sent her a birthday sample. She was really excited. I followed up with her, and it took her like 3 days before she finally took it. But then when she did take it, she was like taking selfies with it and like sharing it with me. I'm like, you need to be an ambassador. You're taking selfies with a pink drink already. So I feel like once you have this filled in for a week or two, it's easy to funnel people where they need to go, right? So you're not coming up with however many 90 new names every single week. Some of the people from the new contacts will be reaching out the next week, and then the next week they'll be on the follow-up. And for some people, you really want to establish that friendship. They may be on your reaching out section for a month before you feel like, you've established that friendship and you can move them to another section. So this to me works for my brain, and it kind of keeps people, because you know how we have to have all these lists. I like knowing that I'm funneling people to an area that they're ready for, and I'm not just adding all these Facebook friends and then never commenting on their stuff, because that doesn't do any good, right? And so let's see, I'm going to upload this to JTD, and then hang on, let me check the chat because you guys are okay. I'm going to go ahead and unmute yourself. I would love to hear from you guys, kind of for those of you that, or just actually share whatever spoke to you guys from this. I want to make sure that this training was helpful. And for those of you that want to go Emerald by July 31st, like, do you feel like this kind of system would help you? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be reading the chat, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves / to everyone else.
You were talking about the
Amber,
Facebook
I
group.
just have to say this was amazing. I am a very, very visual learner, and I have to have like a roadmap. And so every piece of what you showed us tonight, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's like I'm totally stoked.
Yay! Good. I'm glad to hear that, Carrie. Awesome. Was someone else saying something too?
I was just saying that you were talking about Facebook groups. That's something I've been involved in actually since before Facebook. I joined an online group back in the days when there were these weird little chat room things. But that group is still together as a group of moms, and at the time we all had like new babies. I mean, our babies are teenagers now. Some of them are still having babies, but anyway. And then from there, I branched out and have joined other Facebook groups because that became a safe group. Right now, I have of my 5 ambassadors that I have, 2 of them I've never met in real life.
Wow.
Because they're from Facebook groups. And on the Plexus Blessed 7-Day Sugar Detox, I have 12 people running that right now. 5 of them I have never met in real life.
That
all from Facebook. Like Facebook groups is a real thing, y'all. But you have to be involved. Like people have to kind of get to know you through them.
Yes, Carrie, I love that. How can you kind of share how do you make sure that you get involved? Like what do you do to really establish those friendships?
It's just being in the group and commenting and posting and one of the groups that I'm really involved in is a religious group. I mean, it started off that way. But it's something that we all have in common is that we're all Christians. It's not all about religion, but everybody's Christian in the group. And so there's a lot of, prayer requests and that kind of thing. So then, you follow up. If you've, said, okay, I'll pray for you. Then a couple of days later, check back in with them. It's establishing a real connection. It's just not out having coffee. It's the person happens to be located in California and I'm in Texas. So we can't go out to have coffee. So but I still follow up with them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing. It's because I've gotten in that habit where I'm like, okay, I got to add to my network. But if I'm not being intentional with the people I'm adding, then it's not benefiting either one of us to be Facebook friends, right? And it's not just to ultimately get them on my Plexus team, but what's the point in adding somebody to your network if you're not going to get to know them in their life, And for us with Facebook, it's as simple as paying attention to what they're posting about,
Right.
Well, and to piggyback on Carrie, you have to be really intentional about it because I'm actually the admin on 2 special needs parents Facebooks. And we've had to ban people because they'll go in, and start commenting, but not build those relationships. And the next thing we know, people are complaining on the backside that they're getting bombarded with private messages, and they're like, I've just met this person, or I don't know who this person is, and they're trying to sell me this, they're trying to sell me that. So you have to be very intentional and in the relationship piece of it and not just in the joining groups to expand kind of component.
Absolutely. And we've done the same thing in our groups too. The mom group that I started off with that I was talking about at the beginning, we started with over 300 people. There's probably like 50 of us now. And the 50 of us that are left are close. But the rest of them, it wasn't necessarily about selling MLM products or whatever, but there were just different things. There were a couple of them that were just legitimately crazy. I'm sorry, they just were. And so after a while, yeah, you just sort of, and some people just leave. Some people, so after a while, you get down to the group that really means something to each other.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same with Plexus even, like I've noticed that, like you can start something with a whole big group of people, but in the end, people get busy, priorities change, but the people who are left standing are going to be super close,
Yep.
So very cool. Well, I'm going to upload this tracker to our team page, and I hope it's helpful to you guys. I'm excited about implementing it and using it because I think it's just gonna be something so simple where like this week you fill it out, you use it, and then the next week, you know, you have names to pull from that you know you need to follow up with or whatnot. And I was gonna have Obi tweak it and make another one for the other paces, you know, because not everyone is Mama Makes Maui pace right now, and I understand that. So I'm gonna see if he'll do the 1, 2, 3 and the 2, 4, 6 pace one, so everyone can kind of have a tracker that fits their goal. And we can upload that as well. And then something else I'm excited about doing, and we're not going to start it this Sunday, but it's actually going to be the following Sunday night. So November 20th, the first, second, and third Sundays of the month. And obviously some holidays will fall on some of those, so we'll have to tweak it. But you guys remember when we did the working Monday night huddle, and we just had our lists and we went to town. So this is not going to be mandatory, but I realize that there's so many of us that are ready to take our businesses to the next level. And I want a place where we can come together and just knock out some awesome activity every week. So those Sunday nights are going to be for anyone that's available to jump on. We're calling it the Sunday Night Hustle, kind of playing off of the Monday Night Huddle. So the Sunday Night Hustle, and you'll just bring your list. It doesn't have to be this. If you guys have a system that works for you, just come prepared, or, you know, jump on and use that time to prepare for the week. You know, if you want to use that time to create your list of who you're contacting that week. But it'll be 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. I know 9:30 kind of makes it long, but it's already 10 o'clock and you guys are still on. So the 8:30, that way people can get kiddos to bed. And it'll just be an hour of working our businesses and putting in the activity. And you guys think about it. If you showed up to a Sunday night hustle with this filled out, obviously not your new contacts because you're going to be doing that as you go. But if you came with these filled in and you reached out to the majority of those people and you did that on a Sunday night, can you imagine how accomplished you would feel? And it's not even Monday yet. And then say Monday hits and you're feeling extra motivated. It's kind of like when you work out. Whenever I work out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to run an Ironman. Like when you're doing something that's beneficial and building your confidence, you feel like the sky's the limit. Yeah, you feel like you might die a little bit too along the way, but you're like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. So once you get this done, some of it done on a Sunday night, Monday rolls around, you're like, holy cow, yeah, I'm going to invite 10 people to this online event we're doing. Heck, I'll invite 20, you know? So, and then that's the cool thing is as we have Facebook events and whatever else going on, you know, a lot of the people in your reaching out section, you can be reaching out to them, inviting them to our Facebook event or whatever else we have going on that week. So there should always be something you can kind of reach out to people about. Hang on, let me check the chat. I've been ignoring it. Okay. Oh, Tammy, are you talking about the Sunday Night Hustle? It's going to start Sunday, October. We're not in October anymore. Sunday, November 20th. So we'll do it Sunday, November 20th from 8:30 to 9:30, and I'll create a Facebook event so you guys can be reminded. But from 8:30 to 9:30, come with your list ready to work. Or like I said, if that's the time where you plan for your week, come anyway and use that time to fill in your tracker system that you're using with the names that you're going to reach out to that week. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me